Good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome back once again to Fat Cat Collections. Wanted to put up another discussion video. I'm sorry that there's not any kind of props here, or you're not going to see the actual product I'm talking about today, but I will encourage you after the video to check out my other videos I've done on this particular product, and you can kind of get an idea of what the problem is. And I will put up pictures eventually and do another video of this product, but right now the product is at my parents' house. We've been using it up there for smoking. I've been hanging out quite a bit up there and doing a lot of cooking. So it's easier to cook for, well, not easier, but I like to cook for a lot of people rather than just myself. So, so the product is Masterbuilt smokers. And I did a couple videos that were very popular on Masterbuilt 30-inch electric smoker, the truth, right? And so I've gotten a lot of views in this video. And that's the crazy thing about YouTube. You just never know what's going to be popular or what YouTube is recommending. Now this video, again, matter of opinion, whether you think my videos are good or bad. It really doesn't matter. If you like watching the content, continue to watch. If you don't, I'm going to continue making my product reviews, doing what I do, and enjoying, reviewing products how I like to review them. And ultimately, like I said, on this channel, you're going to get product reviews, you're going to get vlogs, a few how-tos, but a lot of times my videos are not going to really dive in and show you how to fix something. I'm just going to give you guys some heads up, some pointers. And that's really the point of a lot of my videos. Not every time am I looking to give you guys this super in-depth, 100% review showing you every single thing about the product. I'm giving you guys just my opinion more than anything else about what I think about these products and showcasing and talking about my experience with them. And that's really the goal when I do a video, right? Is to give you guys my experience and my honest opinion, not some BS opinion where it's like, I'm getting sponsored from a company and telling you guys why I think you should buy it. Obviously, it's better for me to give a product a good review, right? So the product is the Masterbuilt smoker again, and this is a 30-inch smoker that I bought a couple years ago. It's a smoker that it was not sponsored. I have not had any kind of sponsorship deals with any kind of grill or smoker companies, hopefully one day. But I bought this because I wanted to start smoking some food, right? And the price on these electric smokers is pretty good. You can really get your foot in the door and start smoking things with pretty good luck. And, even as an average guy who's never smoked before owning this, guys, this isn't rocket science, and if you want to smoke food, you don't have to get the, the Traeger that costs $2,000. You don't have to spend a lot of money. You could spend $150 and get yourself an entry-level smoker and still produce results. Now, I know that here's the problem when I do a review sometimes like this, and really it's like anything. Remember, I'm giving you guys my experience, my own personal experience with what kind of luck I've had with these products and my initial unboxing. Whatever video I put up, these are my thoughts, my experience, okay? And you can't take them from me. You can't turn around and tell me how I'm wrong, okay? Now, I get guys who are professional smokers and pit masters and guys who don't know anything, guys who know a lot, guys who know just as much as me and a lot more and a lot less. There's always somebody dropping a comment, and I love getting the comments. But ultimately, you need to understand when you watch these videos that every video I make, again, I'm going to repeat myself, is my experience. And I've worked very hard for over 10 years doing videos for YouTube and for myself and the public, doing one thing every single time consistently, and that's to give you guys 100% honest thoughts, my honest opinion, and an honest review. Now, just because I give something a positive review doesn't mean you're not gonna. Doesn't mean you're gonna like it. Doesn't mean that you're gonna think it's the best product. Reviews and opinions are very subjective. So all I can do is put out these videos, give you guys my opinion, and if you've taken my advice on products before, or you saw a watch and you said, I'm gonna give that a try, and you get it and you liked it, then you might trust one thing. Most important is my integrity. And so you guys can always rest assured that when I do a product review, that's what you're going to get. Now, it's easier for me. Okay, I bought the Masterbuilt smoker, okay? And it's a lot easier for me to turn around because I'm not working with a company on that. Naturally, I always, when I get a product as a sponsorship deal or some kind of arrangement, whether, again, usually something that's sent to me or something I buy, you're going to get both in this channel. And I always tell you guys whether it was a sponsored product or whether it was something I bought. The Masterbuilt smoker is something I bought. Now, ultimately, I can say whatever I want to say on my channel. This is my channel and my channel only. So if I get a Masterbuilt smoker, okay, and you guys know, when you watch my videos, YouTube is no big secret. YouTube, my links are affiliate links. It clearly states in the description. If you find, and I say it all the time, if you find value in what I'm telling you, and that sparks you to say, hey, you know what, I've been looking for this. You know, I like what this guy has to say. I think he made some good points. I'm going to take my hard-earned money and buy it. If you use my affiliate link, I get a small commission back depending on where you buy it from. If there's a link in the description, generally that's what they're for. You can read the fine print if you haven't already. It says right there. But here's the thing. It's within my own best interest, right, to give a product a good review. If I review a product and tell you guys why it's terrible, if you take my advice, you're probably not going to want to buy it, right? You might be like, ooh, maybe I'll look at a different brand. Maybe I'll look elsewhere, get a few other opinions. And here's the thing, my Masterbuilt smoker videos have gotten, let's see right here, just one of my most popular ones to let you guys know, just so we're on the same page here before I get rolling on this. My Masterbuilt smoker video has gotten 116,000 reviews, and it goes up every single views, right? So it's a lot of people watching that video. It's in my best interest to say, hey, Masterbuilt smokers are great. I highly recommend them. Click the link, buy one. That's beneficial for me. I hate giving a product a bad review, but you guys are always going to get the integrity. You guys are always going to get the honest truth. So coming to the Masterbuilt smoker, this is my experience with the smoker. And I wanted to come back because I had a guy comment today, and he's really, it always amazes me, people, how thick they are. Remember, you can tell me that Masterbuilt smokers are the best smokers in the entire world, okay? But I'm telling you guys my experience with the smoker. Does it mean, you know, let me get to the review, okay? So this guy is going on and on. He's calling me BS on this. Ultimately, this guy just can't seem to get through his thick mind, I don't know if he's stupid or what, that this is my experience. I'm not lying about my experience. When I show you guys, and check out the other videos, Masterbuilt smokers, you can just search Masterbuilt 30-inch electric smoker. I'll pop up. I mean, if you consider like these videos bad, it's really bad. It's really, I'm like in the morning, I didn't even shave. I don't think I even brushed my teeth. I'm outside, you know, just again, explaining my experience because I want people to know what they're getting into with these products. It doesn't always have to be, you know, perfect. It just has to be my explanation. So with my Masterbuilt smoker, I paid about 150, 160 bucks. It's been a couple years, I don't remember, maybe 3 years, I don't really remember. And when I first got the smoker, I knew it was an inexpensive smoker. It doesn't have a window. It's basically a refrigerator with a heating element and some lining, right? I mean, it's pretty. It looks like a refrigerator. And again, guys, this is not rock. Smoking food, if you're competing, I know there's people who are professionals in every single thing. For me, I'm just a do-it-yourselfer looking to make some smoked ribs, to get that smoke flavor. I'm not looking to win any awards here. Sometimes I cook something. I'm not a chef. You know, I'll cook something. It turns out good. Other times it turns out, hey, this was better last time. You know, I just kind of experiment. I go with the flow. And ultimately, everything that comes out of there is pretty good. If you're going to smoke food, I know when it comes to competition barbecue that there's great food out there, right? I'm not that guy. I'm just trying to have a little smoke in my ribs, maybe make a nice tender, juicy set of ribs or some pork, whatever, chicken, just to enjoy, okay? It's not like I'm not trying to win any awards here. I'm not trying to tell you guys how this is the best way of smoking. I don't know. I'm just telling you I enjoy it. Then I still enjoy the Masterbuilt smoker. So let me just talk about just a little bit about my experience with smoker. So first off, okay, in the video, I talk about flare-ups. I discuss some of the issues I've had. Now the smoker, I still use it. I want to be very clear on that. I use it almost every week. I made some good stuff out of there. I do a combination of sous vide and smoke. It really kind of takes the guesswork out of having the meat turn out tender, right? You cook it and just look at other. One channel I recommend is Sous Vide Everything and Salty Tales. These two guys are awesome. They're like my favorite channel for sous vide and smoking. Very entertaining to watch. Check them out. I highly recommend their channels. Sous Vide Everything, what was it? I forgot already. Salty Tales. They're on Salty Tales. That's Ninja. He was actually on. I don't know who started what. If I say this wrong, forgive me. But he was on Sous Vide Everything, and they're just great to watch. I think he started his own channel. They still appear, I believe, on each other's channels. But just check them out. You'll like them if you're interested in smoking and sous vide, so like that. Or if you don't know what that is, check it out. So anyway. When I cook stuff like that, I do a combination sous vide and smoke, and I'm just looking to get that smoke flavor. Again, I'm not trying to compete. I'm not trying to win any awards. I'm not trying to have people come over and be like, that was the best, hands down. I'm just looking to make some food, okay? And just have it be edible, all right? And taste good and be fun, all right? So my Masterbuilt smoker, the biggest issues that I've had with this smoker and why I consider it low quality, it's not cheap, okay? $150 is not cheap, okay? Now, when it comes to smokers, yeah, you can spend thousands of dollars. I get all the professional pit masters comment on the video, I used to be a smoker, I have a $3,000... I don't give a shit about your $3,000 smoker. What I'm telling you is my experience with this $150 smoker. Now, to me, the issues I've had with this should not happen. This is not rocket science, and I say it a lot. This is not a NASA space shuttle. This is a box that basically looks like a converted fridge with a very basic electronic push button display and a heating element. And you set it and forget it. You pick the temperature, it has a thermostat, and basically what's going to happen is it's going to heat up the element. There's a thermostat inside the device. You close the door, it's heating up. Once it hits your 170 degrees or whatever you set it for, it turns off, okay? When it turns off, if your chips are not smoking already, they're not going to smoke. You need heat in order to get those chips to start smoldering and smoke, right? So again, I know that these are not, like if you get a Traeger, and I've seen these things where it's really quite controlled. If you're a pitman, I'm not trying to tell you guys how to do it. I'm just trying to tell you my experience as a novice, as a very entry level. I mean, I don't even know if you'd call me a novice. I mean, like, I probably smoked on it maybe 25 times, okay? Very inexperienced. But what I can tell you is what you do if you're a guy like me. You're going to get it, you have racks, you're gonna pre-season it, you read the instruction, turn up the temperature, do that whole thing. But ultimately what you're doing is figuring out something to smoke, you're going to season it, you're going to put it in the smoker, and you're going to set the temperature. And then you're going to follow some of the techniques online, depending on what you're using. But at the very minimal, you're going to take it out and just cook it at a very low temperature. And while you're doing that, there is smoke being produced. If your smoke runs out, you're going to add more chips. My biggest issue with this smoker is the fact that the paint started flaking off the inside edge, not even inside, the part underneath the seals, within the first 2 uses. I'm sorry, but I don't give a shit how much you spend on something. And one guy's arguing with me about how $20 grills, I said I brought up a grill. I had a grill from Walmart that was like $150, $160, and it lasted for like 8 years. The paint never flaked off it. I mean, it lasted a long time. The paint actually wore off it, but it never started flaking. This Masterbuilt smoker, the paint was bubbling all around the inside edge. And there's only one reason why it would do that. It's because the surface was not prepped properly before it was painted. Now, my biggest gripe with this, I probably just got a bad one. Maybe their quality control sucks. I don't know. All I can tell you is my experience with the unit and why I'd probably try a different brand if I ever needed to get another one. I would look at maybe getting a stainless steel one. The thing is, for me to have spent $100 more and maybe got the stainless steel one, I would have done that to avoid paint flaking off it. You just don't think you're going to get paint flaking off something that cooks at relatively low temperature. Really, the highest I've cooked on this thing is 225. And honestly, it didn't make any bit of difference. The paint flaked right off the bat. 170 degrees, I was smoking salmon, and it was like 2 uses, paint bubbling. And what you can do, and I will do this, I just haven't got around doing it, is scrape it off and just leave it bare metal. You could probably reapply some paint, but you shouldn't have to do that. And this is my point. For this price, you can go and get a $20 grill. This guy was like, well, I put a $20 cheap charcoal grill and it bubbles the first time. No, bullshit. I've had those cheap $20 charcoal grills, and I can tell you that, yeah, the paint does eventually wear and flake, but not after 2 uses. And not at 170 degrees. Those get a lot hotter. And my point is that if you could take a cheap company, apply paint like a cheap grill company, a Charbroil, whatever, I know they make different levels, and not a paint flake, you can't just blame. The argument that this guy had was that, oh, well, it's a $150 smoker. What do you expect? Well, what I expect is the paint not to flake. And if the paint does flake, for the company to honor their warranty. Now, I didn't read the fine print. I just expect that if I own company A and I'm building a product that's supposed to, that I'm selling a whole bunch of, a well-known brand like Masterbuilt, and an influencer like myself, a YouTube reviewer who has not a huge following, but almost 16,000 people follow me. That's pretty good. If you had a problem, you would want to say, hey, you know what, we want you to be happy. Let's try again. Let us send you something. Let us copy for it. Something. The company really just took the stance that, hey, that happens sometimes. And I'm sorry, but if I would have known, just think about it. If you were going to buy something and part of, I take care of my things, right? You have a nice black finish. Why put paint on it anyways? They put paint on it so it looks a certain way and it's somewhat, appealing to the eye, right? If you're going to put shit paint on that's going to flake off, why bother doing so in the first place? The thing is that most people probably don't have that problem with the smoker, but I have heard some people do. People do comment, and a lot of times, you don't always hear about those stories. So my biggest gripe with this thing is the fact that the paint flaked off after 2 uses. Now, this guy was telling me, no, I said, listen, I've applied paint to engine heads before and engine blocks. They have not peeled off like this does. And he's, I'm a diesel mechanic. So already, and this is the issue with a lot of idiots, already because you are a diesel mechanic, suddenly your experience somehow you think should outweigh your choice of career should outweigh my experience. As if that you are a diesel mechanic and paint doesn't always flakes off engine blocks if it's not high temp paint, but somehow you seem to think that because you've had this career that somehow I'm wrong. Like I made up this story about my Masterbuilt paint flaking off, right? It doesn't, there's no benefit for me to say Masterbuilt products suck, right? There's no motivation, there's nothing in it for me to give a product a negative review. But when it happens, I have to be honest. I have to tell the public, and for you guys that watch me, my experience with the product. And the paint flaked after 2 uses. 170 degrees, I smoke higher now, 225, because when I got it, the first thing I wanted to smoke was salmon. Smoked the salmon, turned out great, but the paint flaked. So, is it the end of the world? No, but if somebody would have told me, hey, you know what? This is a Masterbuilt smoker, just want to let you know you're going to get it, it's going to look nice. However, when you get it, the paint's going to be flaking off around your food. I would have said, oh, let me look at a different brand, or maybe I'll get a stainless steel one. I wouldn't have bought it, plain and simple. And I don't think there's a person on earth who would listen to that story and say, oh, well, you know what, I'm going to get it in 2 uses, the paint's going to flake off. I think most people would be like, you know what, I'm going to look maybe at a different brand, or maybe look at a brand, maybe a stainless steel model, something without the paint. I don't think most people are going to consciously buy something they know is going to start to fail. Now, with that being said, do I still use the smoker? Yeah. Is it my worst experience with a company? No. Was it a lot of money? No. But $150 is $150. I'm sorry, but $10 is $10. And if somebody makes a product, I don't really care. You can't use the argument anymore, well, it's a cheap product. I expect it to work. And I know that sometimes, the old saying, you get what you pay for. That's true and that's not true. There are some times where if you get a product, it could last you years. My same argument with my Costco hot tub, Aquaterra. I had so many hot tub people, oh, that's going to fail in 6 months. Here we are 2.5 years later, the thing has been awesome. No problems whatsoever. So did I have to spend $10,000 to get something that brings me a lot of enjoyment? No, I didn't. And so that's the same thing. You should be, if a company's going to make a product that's going to last longer than a year, and most things have a year manufacturer's warranty. But yet, companies like this seem to have a way to always backpedal and somehow twist and worm their way out of doing the right thing. And that's what happened here. Now, the other thing, that's the biggest gripe. So you guys understand, the paint peeled at 170 degrees, okay? Now, in the video, I also mentioned flare-ups. And I mentioned, hey, you had a flare-up. What's going on? Well, one nice YouTuber said, hey, are you foiling your racks? And in this particular case, that one time, I did foil the rack. And the foil prevented the thermostat from getting a proper reading. So it actually lit the chips on fire. Unfortunately, that lit the foil on fire. And now it wasn't a big fire. It made a little woof, and the chips were on fire. It wasn't a big deal, but I didn't know that. And so another YouTube commenter educated me on that and said that makes sense. After I've done that, no flare up. So Masterbuilt, way to go. No flare ups. That's fantastic. Now, let's get to the other thing. And this is not just me, but the smoker doesn't really smoke unless you take it up to over 225 degrees. When I first got it, it was a little bit better. You might get a little smoke, but you're not going to get the smoke you really need to smoke meat. You're not going to get, you want to see that smoke kind of pumping out the chimney, right? Or out the vent. Not just a little tiny bit. And I find with this smoker that it's very difficult to get smoke out of it. When you first turn it on, I actually went as far as doing what some other YouTubers had said and remove the lower tray where you put the chips and put it closer to the element. Kind of a design flaw there. They have this little piece of metal that sticks up. That worked for some people. It didn't work for me. I ultimately just took the bracket out and I leave the chip tray directly on top of the element. All right? And if it breaks, it breaks, right? Again, this isn't rocket science. It's a little metal tray that sits on top of an element and gets hot. This is not something over the top like, oh, you know, this is not, we're not winning, trying to compete here. We're just trying to get a little smoke and cook the food. The issue I have with the Masterbuilt smoker is that, and again, this design, and I don't think this part of it is just with Masterbuilt, but when you have a smoker like this, when you're trying to get that smoke, you're preheating it, you're getting it up to 170 degrees. Once you hit 170 degrees and those chips, if they're not smoldering, the thing keeps its heat pretty good. And the thing about this smoker is that there's an upper vent, but there's no lower vent. So what I've been doing, in order to keep that heat kind of moving through the smoker, I've been pulling the chip, there's a chip deposit box actually on the side where you can keep it closed and add more chips by using this small box. You put the chips in, turn it, and you dump it. I've been removing that to get more oxygen and more airflow into the smoker, and that's worked a lot better for me. But what happens, I found, is that your chips start to kind of smolder out, and without having, even with the upper vent completely open. Now these are things that I'm not blaming the smoker completely on because I am a novice, okay? But my biggest gripe is with the peeling paint. Okay. The other thing with that is, again, the element, you shouldn't have to mess with it. It shouldn't be so difficult in order to just have something work properly. And again, I think that Masterbuilt should have took responsibility for this particular smoker and replaced it. Okay. For the paint peeling, if that's just a, you know, for not smoking at 170 degrees, if that's just the nature of an electric smoker, then whatever, it's fine. I still use it. It's still fine. I just expected to be able to smoke stuff low and slow, like they say, and get a lot of smoke and still be able to cook the meat without having to take it up so high. So I'm not sure if the thermostat's off or if it's cycling on and off properly. I mean, I still use it. What I really want you guys to get from this video, I still use a smoker. And is it the worst product in the world? No. I just want you guys to be aware of the potential issues I've had with my particular Masterbuilt smoker, in hopes that maybe you don't have that. If you've had a good experience with the machine, by all means, drop a comment. If you've had a negative, I'd like to hear that as well. But what I don't want for you morons out there is to get on here and comment. I know you will, and I will respond. And if you're offensive, I'll delete your comment and ban you. But ultimately, you can't, no matter what your experience is with smoking or products or whatever, you cannot steal away from me under the pretenses of I'm an expert or I used to do this in my life. You can't come on here and then state some kind of evidence that you have and to steal my experience and my stories. This is my experience, my opinion, my story, and this is what has happened with my smoker. At the end of the day, I still use a smoker. It still gets the job done. It just doesn't get the job done as easily as I thought it would. You know, I don't know if I can really make good smoked salmon with this thing anymore because I just don't think it's going to stay low enough to cook that salmon low and slow and provide the smoke. Now, I'll keep experimenting with it. I'll keep messing with the element. You know, keep trying to maybe what I've been doing is bring the temperature up to about 230, let it start smoking, and then open it up and then back it down. And so that's kind of worked better. But ultimately what I use this thing now is really I cook in sous vide and then I smoke. And the thing with sous vide is when you're cooking a roast, let's say you're going to make a roast at 130, right? It's cooked perfect medium rare, medium well, or medium rare or medium, right? It's cooked perfectly, it's ready to go, it's tender, it's juicy. Now you're going to get that sear or you're going to get that smoke. Well, I would like to be able to put that in there at maybe 150. get the smoke flavor, and then sear it on the grill or sear it with a torch. Not have to bring it up to 225, because then you're starting to defeat the whole point of cooking low and keeping it at 130 degrees in the sous vide. So again, I'm sure there's better smokers out there that I guess maintain smoke better, that control smoke better. I know it's an inexpensive one. It's 150 bucks. I know that there are better ones out there, but again, these are kind of the few things I just want you guys to be aware of if you're going to buy this particular model. Put, with the smoke and the temperature, but also that you may get one, maybe they all do it, I don't know. I'm telling you guys, I've had enough people comment that mine flaked as well. I had to use a wire brush. Yeah, but you just shouldn't have to do that, because it's not getting super hot. Now, getting back, again, I'm not close here, getting back to idiots out there. This guy was like, oh, I call BS on, I'm this kind of mechanic, I call BS on paint. Listen, I have applied spray paint, 99-cent spray paint to my calipers. I know you're supposed to use high temp caliper paint, but you know what? I've done this enough over the years that I know that in a couple years I'll have to repaint it. I'm not an aggressive driver. If you're maybe getting those calipers super hot, maybe it's a different story. I'm just everyday driving. I'm not super hard on my cars. I take it slow, low and slow, as they say. And my paint, my 99-cent paint, didn't flake. Okay, and calipers get hot when they're under load, right? They're going to produce heat. They're going to get hot enough to burn you, whether you drive slow or not. My paint lasted for 8 years before there was any flaking. I recently just recoated with a different color, over-the-counter Rust-Oleum, not high-temperature paint. I've used on exhaust before when I patched a few exhaust areas or had a few areas under the exhaust that maybe was a little messy from the guy who welded it up or whatever. I've used regular spray paint. I just had to fix a whole temporary fix on my Solara on the exhaust been on there about 10 years. The weld is starting to rust where it connects to the aftermarket pipe for the custom exhaust I had done. There's a pretty decent sized hole in it. I've used some JB weld, some kind of a wrap to help to plug it up just temporarily, get through the summer. It works. I've had it patched up now for about 3 months. And what I did is I went ahead and I put the JB weld on it the best I could. I wrapped it with like kind of a aluminum sticky tape, aluminum like gutter tape, not sure what it's used for. Wrapped it real well, more JB weld. And there's other kits you can get. I'm just going to have it replaced. But here's the point. Afterwards, it looks so crummy in there. I just sprayed it with 99-cent Lowe's black. And you know what? It hasn't burned off. It hasn't flaked. And so if you can go put it on a surface like that, I didn't even prep the surface. And it's not flaking off. There is no excuse for paint flaking off. Something is designed to get hot. Again, you go spray paint on your header, yeah, it's going to burn off pretty quick if it's not high temp paint. I've had high temp paint burn off headers. I've painted a lot of different things over the years, and I can tell you that paint just shouldn't flake off under low temperatures. Again, you're going to have that really high temp. I get it. Yeah, you bring a header up to 1800 degrees, whatever. It's you're going to need something that's going to really bond. You have to have a good surface for that paint to stick to, but for 170 degrees, and remember, the smoker's getting 170. The inside edge isn't getting 170. There's no excuse for paint blistering. The only reason paint blisters like that is if the surface was not prepped properly. It hasn't stuck to the surface. So that's it, guys. Take it for what it is. Like it, don't like it. I don't give a shit. I'm just telling you guys my experience with Masterbuilt smokers. I would buy a different brand. If I need to replace it, maybe I would give them a chance. I don't know. I will look into other brands. I went with Masterbuilt because, one, the price, and that was really about it. And it was a Masterbuilt. I've heard of them. I've seen them places. I'll give it a try. There's other companies out there to try. I'll definitely go stainless next time. Spend a little bit more, whatever. But this works. It's fine. Just wanted you guys to know what you may experience with this particular smoker. Take it for what it is. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate all the positive comments and some of the negative comments. If you like the content, do subscribe. If you have any questions, I'm always here to help. You guys have a great weekend and take care.